Hi, this is Diane, and welcome to How to Use Social Media for Business and Actually Make Money Working Online. So this is an introductory video to the free training you're going to get access to very soon when you click on the link below this video. So this is a bit of an overview of what that training is going to cover, but it's also got some extra personal tips and strategies and advice that we're sharing that me and Michelle have learned through our experience using social media and running online businesses. So the reason why the title is called How to Use Social Media and Actually Make Money Online is because a lot of us are obviously already using social media for personal reasons and not necessarily knowing how to switch over in terms of using it for a business or to actually use it to make money, to switch careers, or to possibly use it to boost another business you might already have. So this video and the training is for both for people that maybe have a business and want to use social media to actually boost that, boost their sales, and also for people that have no business, no idea, and that just really find that idea of being able to work online and have the freedom to make money wherever they are. They find that a really interesting idea and would like to know how to actually do it. So let's get started. So briefly, what we're going to cover in this training is one, how to choose the right social media platform for you. And that can be challenging because there are so many different platforms these days, and it can get very overwhelming, and we end up not kind of doing anything because we're just trying to choose. So we're going to go over some of those basics. The second thing is about how to come up with a brand name for your business and just thinking through the different options you can use, especially as they relate to the different social media platforms. The third thing we're going to be covering is how to monetize your social media accounts. So really talking about what are the career opportunities for you, what are the different ways that you can make money, and starting to think about which ones might be right for you and your lifestyle circumstances. The fourth thing we're going to cover is what 4 rules are to building a successful online business. So that's coming from our own experience and all the people in our network and our friends and peers and mentors that have built online businesses. And finally, I'm going to share with you how you can learn more about building a successful online business. So briefly, before we get into this video, just want to cover quickly who we are. So my name's Diane, I'm 38 years old. I've been living in Bali since 2013. So I started in the online world then, managing and editing other people's blogs, kind of dipping my toe in the waters of the online world. And then like around a year later, I started my own online coaching business to help other people create online courses because that was sort of a growing trend at the time as well. And a lot of people felt like that was a great way to supplement their income to actually sell something online as well. And then more recently in 2017, I also started coaching people to write books for their business and to position themselves as a leader in their niche. So my background, basically I was a university teacher, so I actually had no business experience. I knew very little about the online business world. And yes, so I only started my journey a few years ago and had to learn all these skills and techniques and strategies. And that's why I'm really passionate about sharing those things with you. So basically the reason I took that journey is because I dreamed of being able to have bases on different sides of the world and not have to stay in the one place the whole time. And now Michelle and I, we're really lucky that we can do that. We live in Bali, which is a bit of an endless summer place most of the year, but we're in the European summer, we're over there, and we're also we're just about to go to Australia for a few weeks for the summer there too. So my interests, I've got interest in yoga, personal development, reading, writing, dancing, photography. I've got a lot of interests, but the reason why I'm sort of drawing attention to them now is because later in the training, I want to come back to how important it is to integrate some of your interests or passions into how you're using social media, because that's going to make life a lot easier for you and just much more enjoyable. So yeah, I love helping people share their own message to build successful businesses so they can also build that lifestyle that they choose, whether that's having 2 bases on different sides of the world or not. You know, to me, that's really important that people get to build a lifestyle that really suits them. So a little bit about Michelle too. We're the same age. He's been living in Bali since 2016. We actually met here. And so he started working in affiliate marketing then. He's got a background as a coach, a manager, and even a microbiologist. So he's got a varied background. But he very much felt burnt out working 9-to-5 jobs. I found that very difficult, like with 40-hour week, going into the office every day. And he moved to Bali because he wanted a bit of a change for that and to find something that he could kind of balance better with some of his other things he wanted to do in his life. He loves yoga, scuba diving, salsa and football. And so the scuba diving part, I'll show you in a few minutes. He's integrated that into how he uses social media to make money online. And yeah, his big thing, he loves going back to his home to Europe every summer so we can spend time, his family is from the Netherlands, so we can spend time there. And he really loves just helping people achieve their dreams and yeah, helping them to do what he's done as well. So first I wanted to talk about some of the online career opportunities. This has really like blown up in the last few years. There are a lot of opportunities to make money online doing different things. Being a blogger or vlogger is obviously like an obvious one that, you know, people then can like sell products based on the fact that there are a lot of people coming to read their blogs or to watch their videos, and then people have a good platform in order to kind of sell products or sell advertising space. The second one is a social media influencer. That's something that's become very popular in recent years, especially with Instagram. There's a lot of Instagram influencers that are using that platform to make money in a few different ways. And I'm going to be sharing some of those with you and some real examples in a few minutes as well. The other one is doing affiliate marketing or network marketing. So that's where you sell other people's products and you essentially recommend someone else is doing, and then you get a commission, a percentage of that product. The fourth one is being a coach or a consultant. There are so many coaches and consultants doing well in the online space these days, and so that can be really sharing some skill you might have from a previous job and using it in a new way to help people. It could be like a consultant on anything really, but you know, there's life coaches, there's business coaches, there's people doing lots of different things in that space. And the fifth one is creating online courses. So this is a good one if you have a topic that you're particularly passionate about. It could be something that a skill you've taught yourself, or it could just be something that you know a lot about, and so that you can use social media and on the online space in order to sell those courses. The next one is being a social media manager. These days, every business or personal brand needs a social business manager. So that's someone that actually learns how to use social media to the extent that they can then manage that for that person, so for that person's business. And the last one is service-based businesses. So there's lots of people offering different services, building websites, like creating maybe social media images for someone, doing photography for someone's website. There's lots of different opportunities there as well. And we're going to circle back to this because I want to give you some real examples of people that we know are actually friends with in real life, of people that are actually doing it, and just to give you some inspiration and also some ideas about what's possible. So before we go into all of that, I just wanted to put up some statistics for how many people are on social media these days. And as you can see, it's big. And that's the reason like online business has gone, you know, away from things like Google Ads and other kinds of advertising and very much into the social media arena. And so the benefit of using social media for business is that, one, you've got access to all these people, but also, you know, that you can access them for free. You know, you can do things and get free promotions, and also there's paid opportunities, obviously, these days on all these platforms as well. But it's where a lot of people are hanging out, and it's where it's much easier to get in front of people, especially when you're newer and when you're starting out, that people might not be Googling your name yet. It's a really good way of starting kind of to build that profile as a business owner. So choosing your social media platform, obviously, as I in the previous slide, there are a lot of different platforms out there, and it's just not possible, especially you know, if you're a person doing this on your own for the time being, that you can actually cover all of those well. And it's much better to just pick one or two maximum platforms and actually get kind of confident with them before trying to also take on some of these other platforms. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can pick the right platform to start with. But this is kind of a mistake a lot of people make when they're starting to use social media from a business point of view, is they try and kind of cover all their bases at once and then don't do a very good job because they just don't have time to do any of them very well. And so then they don't make any progress with their business. So avoid chasing shiny objects, focus on one thing first. And this can be very tempting when you're starting out, when you might meet someone that goes, oh my God, you know, my business grew huge. I made all this money because I'm on Pinterest, for example. And then if you were focusing on Instagram or Facebook, then you feel like, oh, I better go and do Pinterest as well. And you just kind of keep chasing that next thing that seems to be where people are finding success, and you never really stick it out long enough to see if you're actually going to find success there. So that brings us to that final point on the slide, that growth does take time and consistency. Don't give up. It's not like after a few weeks of being on a new platform that you're going to see huge results, that it's going to take months of consistent effort and time. And that's why it's also good to just focus on one or two platforms to give yourself that opportunity to build that first before you decide you want to try a different platform. So in terms of picking the right platforms to start with, well, one thing you need to really consider is sticking to what's right for your audience. So who are the kind of people you think might be interested in the kind of content you're creating? So basically, you know, obviously social media is about content and about conversations. So who are the sort of people that would be interested in your content and conversations? Where do they hang out? What platform do they use? For example, like when I mentioned Pinterest, that's very much a female-dominated arena. So if you're fascinated with makeup, for example, you know, like that Pinterest might be a great platform for you because you know a lot of women hang out on that platform. Things like if you're targeting younger people, millennials are more on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, although a lot of other people are on those platforms as well. So it doesn't have to just be millennials. But if you've got like a skill or service that's more for corporate people, like that's something that you want to take from your current career, and actually you think people that are more in business or corporate would be interested in maybe what you have to share, then LinkedIn might be a better platform for you to use. So the next thing to consider when you're picking the right platform is also your strengths, your personal strengths. Because, you know, as I said before, the key is to show up consistently, and you're only going to be consistent if you're doing something that you actually, you know, find reasonably easy and that you actually enjoy doing. So what content can you imagine yourself enjoying creating? You know, are you someone that is excited by the idea of doing videos? Do you like writing long stories? Are you a writer? Do you feel like blogs is kind of, you know, more your area? Or do you love taking photos and you're kind of quite a visual person? So thinking about which platforms suit those different types of content is actually really useful to set yourself up for success. And so, yeah, choosing the platform, if you're into images, then Instagram's a great one. Videos on YouTube, longer stories, you could set up a blog that's, you know, that's linked to Facebook, for example. But yeah, so it's always important to think about what you're actually going to enjoy doing. And when you're thinking about this, don't necessarily think about what you're great at doing right now, because when you compare yourself to other people that are much more established, you can think, well, actually, I'm not that good a writer compared to them, or maybe I'm a bit nervous about doing videos. I've never done videos, so I'm not like instantly good at it. It's not about whether you're strong at it right now. Is it like something that you feel like you'd like to get good at, and you think with a bit of practice and a bit of time and kind of just learning how to do it properly, then you could actually be quite good at it. So I want to give you some examples of this, just to get some real life detail about how people choose those platforms. So the first one on the left is one of ours. So that's one of Michelle's. So it's called Diving Laptop Lifestyle, and that's an Instagram account. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to go live and show you a little bit about what that looks like. So here it is. So if I scroll down, you can see it's just a lot of really bright visual images. of underwater scenes and at the beach, a lot of beautiful fish. And as you can see, this platform really is very visual, and diving is obviously kind of quite a visual a visual interest of Michelle's. And so as you can see, he's got like nearly 10,000 followers, and this has been one of the easiest Instagram accounts we've attempted to grow, and it happened very organically. And that's because really people that are interested in diving just really are interested in seeing photos. It really suits the Instagram platform. So you can see, like, if you've got an interest that is very visual, then you might think about as Instagram as one of your main platforms to start with. If I just go to my next example, this is actually a friend of mine, and she's got YouTube channel is one of her kind of main social media platforms she uses. She's a coach, so she uses this to share her content and attract new customers. So if you actually go and follow in any of her videos, but you might even tell just like looking at her face on the videos, she's like a really good speaker. She's quite extroverted. She really likes, it really plays to her strength being on video, and she likes to talk and share about what she's learned and what she believes, and gives people tips and strategies just by talking on video. So she really enjoys doing that. It suits her niche because she's teaching people how to quit their job and start a new business. So actually having someone speaking about what to do suits that, like, probably more than just showing pictures on Instagram. So that's one of her main platforms, and that's very successful for her. And I just wanted to also point out some details here that she's got 3,000 subscribers, so that's actually a good amount, but it's not, millions or hundreds of thousands. So if you're always looking at the people doing like really at the top of the game, and you think you have to get that many subscribers to be successful, like, I want to just shatter that myth right now, that you can have a couple of thousand subscribers, and she's been doing this for like over 3 years, and you can still get like plenty of customers that way if it suits your target market and it plays to your strengths. And even she's sort of been posting maybe like every 2 weeks potentially. So she doesn't post every day. She's not actually creating a video every week. So you don't have to set yourself an unreasonable schedule of how much content you're creating if you're playing to your strengths and picking kind of the right platform for your audience. So if we just go back to our slides. The next thing I wanted to cover is coming up with a brand name for your business. And so here you're faced with that decision of, do you pick like a name, a brand name, or do you use your own personal name? So often people that are like coaches or consultants tend to kind of use their own name because they position themselves as a personal brand. But you don't have to use your own name, and I want to talk about some of the benefits of using a brand name. A lot of bloggers and people that want to be social media influencers use a brand name because it's easier for people to remember. They don't have to remember how to spell maybe your surname. And then it also, you can use a brand name to put in keywords that people search for, and also it gives a flavor of the kind of things you're interested in. So if you use your whole name, people don't necessarily know what it is you do or what kind of content you create. But if you use a brand name, then people immediately know if that's interesting for them. So there are some benefits of using a brand name, especially when you're starting out. So some things you want to consider is, what is your niche and your target audience? What kind of brands are you attracted to, and what are other people in your niche similarly done? And when you're looking at these things, don't necessarily look at the people that have got millions of followers because they become known and their name becomes famous. So they might have started out with a brand name and then people start knowing them very well after years of doing what they're doing. So then they sort of switch to using their personal name. And also another thing to consider is your brand going to be relevant to what you want to be doing in 5 to 10 years time. So there could be a reason as well to think about not sort of tying yourself into something too specific. So it's something that you can evolve and grow with you as you grow as a person. So I want to give you some real examples of what I mean by this. So here we've got Girl Travel Boss, who's another friend of ours. And so this is a classic example of a great brand name. And just by the name Girl Travel Boss, you can guess the sort of content she creates. So it's all about traveling and working while traveling. and it's targeted, the target audience is women. So you can already tell a lot from the brand name. So just from seeing that, you can go, is that something I'm interested in following her on Instagram or not? And that really helps her get followers. And she's got, just over 20,000 followers. And that's been her most successful Instagram account, that even though she's had other accounts that shared similar content, that this name, this brand name, has really been useful because people search for that. Things around being a girl, being a boss, or travel. So it's got some keywords in there. But it's also something that people can immediately identify. Oh, I want to be a girl. I'm a girl. I want to be a traveling and be my own boss. So that's a good example of a great brand name that really attracts the right kind of people as well. So here are another two of our social media accounts, so you can get a good read for all the possibilities as well. So I've got one of mine is called Aussie Book Coach. So then it tells people what I'm doing. So that particular one is definitely advertising my services as a book coach. And, that I'm Australian, obviously. But that one, so that's got about 4,000 followers. So that's kind of using some keywords of potentially what people might be searching for, rather than they might not know me as Diane Hopkins. But as you can see, I've got my name kind of underneath, so people can still start to recognize my name. And over time, I might switch to my personal name once my profile increases. And here's another one on the right is our retreat account. So we also run retreats for entrepreneurs. So that's Dive Into Yourself retreats. So as you can see, we've picked a name there for ourselves, Dive Into Yourself retreats. That allows us to run a few different kinds of retreats. Our first concept there was to run diving and yoga retreats, but the reason why we didn't call it diving and yoga retreats is because we also wanted the freedom to run different kind of retreats without having to create a new brand name every time we did something different. So that's what I mean in terms of giving yourself a bit of flexibility. So Dive Into Yourself is also kind of a nice metaphor. So we can also run writing retreats or other kind of retreats under that particular brand. So here's a final example of Peter Bone, who's someone we're friends with, that has got a brand name account and also his own personal name account. And so as you can see, he's got more followers under his brand name than his personal account. But he's someone that, obviously, with a very successful business with 1 million followers, then people really come to know from his name. And so it's also important for him and his business to be able to, people can search for him individually and follow him as an individual. And so there's also another benefit for him to have his own personal account as well, because he can talk about all the things he does, not just his business, which has achieved the impossible. So as you can see, he's also saying he's a keynote speaker. He can talk about where he's from. He can give more personal details about who he is, whereas his other account that's branded as a business then has to be really focused on that. So there's also benefits to potentially having a brand, and later on, once you grow in your profile, to also have a personal name account. So the next thing I want to talk about is securing your brand name. Now there's a website called Name Checker that's really useful, that you can actually go and type in your brand name to see, firstly, if you can get the web domain, because that's something in the future you might want to get once you build your brand name into a business. So you can check if the .com or the .net, .org, .co. It's really useful to at least have one of those first four domains available, so that you can purchase that now, so that when you're ready to build a website to accompany your business, then that's available. And the great thing about this name check site is that you can also check if Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, if your brand name is available there. And that might also, so if, for example, if your brand name is not available on any of those platforms, you might want to consider tweaking it a little bit, just so that you can access those things, so that, because you don't really want people searching for your brand name and coming up with someone else that's doing something similar, for example. So that's just something to keep in mind before you kind of decide on your brand name. So now I want to circle back to actually the monetizing of the social media accounts. So I mentioned some of these things earlier, but I just want to go over them in a little bit more detail. So this is really about the nuts and bolts of, okay, you're creating content, you're sharing on a social media account, but where really does the money come into, and how do you convert the following that you create to actually an income? So the first one is affiliate offers. So that's where you promote someone else's product or service and you earn a commission on that. So a lot of people that have social media accounts that are doing well will be selling other people's products. And the great thing about that, it's great to start when you're starting out, so you don't have to create a product or something to sell. You really just focus on creating content and building a following and attracting people to your social media account. And then that makes life really simple. And then you just promote other people's products, which could be, it could be a piece of software, it could be a physical product, it could be an online training, and then you earn commission from that. And obviously the secret there is to, you know, promote things that you obviously either use yourself or that you believe in, or that are related to, you know, your brand. For example, if you're a girl travel boss brand, then it would make sense to offer things around being your own boss while you're traveling, maybe online training, but it could also be physical products like maybe a laptop case that helps you work while you're traveling, for example. So if it all sort of matches up with your brand, then that's a good way of kind of maintaining your profile while you're also earning income from other people's products. The second one is getting an influencer or sponsorship deal. So this is kind of like a scaled down version of what celebrities used to, you know, would get for maybe endorsing a product. So now, like, companies are looking to use people that have smaller followings to actually advertise to the market that they want to target. So now you don't need to be someone that has 1 million followers on any account in order to get a sponsorship deal. So a lot of businesses are looking for what they call micro influencers that have, say, around 10 to 20,000 followers on Instagram, which is something that's actually a realistic goal for anyone to really achieve, that they're looking for those people. And then so they'll pay you money to write a post or a couple of posts on their product or on a giveaway they're doing. And I'm going to show you an example of one of our friends that's actually doing that in their business. So the third one is to create courses. So you can create and sell your own online courses that train people how to, I don't know, pot organic tomatoes. There's, you know, or create your own website. There's lots of different ways that people are making money creating and selling courses online. The fourth one is to pick an area you specialize in, offer a service and provide that for a fee. So what a lot of people are doing now is they're training themselves about social media, and then maybe offering their service as a social media manager for someone else that has a busy business and doesn't have time to do that. So there's also an opportunity that you can train yourself in things that you might not know exactly that much about now, but you train yourself to understand those things, and then you take over that responsibility of someone else's business. And the final one is products. You know, you can sell your own products. So this is something people don't usually start out doing. They might start out selling someone else's products, but you know, once they build a following, they might decide they want to sell their own products. So I wanted to show you an example, and I'm going to go live again. This is the Blonde Abroad, and she sells different products. She has a blog, and if you go to her account, she will have lots of different things about photography, packing guides. It's all about travel online. But if you notice, she's got a shop up the top, and she sells products basically that are not her own products. She is an affiliate, so you can see she's selling different products here. And if you just keep scrolling, there's her Instagram account. Oops. So if you might click on one of these things just to see what she's selling. Okay, so she's selling different clothing. And if you click through, you'll see where she's selling these things from as well. So she's selling her favorite clothes. So if I click on the beanie, you can see it's redirecting me to another website. So that's where she's selling it from. So she's not necessarily having to create all these clothes herself. So then it goes to a website called Backcountry that sells different clothing brands. So if I click through from her blog all the way through to here, so if I then go ahead and select that to buy, then she will get a percentage of the sale. So that's one way people are making money from using social media. And if I go back to the slides, the second example is I want to go back to Girl Travel Boss, and I will just look her up live, Girl Travel Boss. So this is our friend Natalia's Instagram account, and we can just scroll down to see. I just wanted to use this as an example. So she's advertising a giveaway to the Maldives for a company called Top Travel Vacations. Excuse me. So this is a sponsorship post. So she would be making, she would be getting paid directly for posting this. And you can see how it's relevant because it's still about travel. So she's only doing sponsorship deals for things that are relevant to her brand and her audience. And so that's the way she makes money online. So let's just go back. Okay. So just to wrap up, I just want to summarize with going through some of the rules to building a successful online business. And so all the people that we know that are in our networks, our mentors and our teachers and our peers and friends that are all doing online business, there's a few key features and most of these actually are really about mindset. And I've shared with you some things to think about in terms of strategies and tips about how to use social media to make money online. And the workshop that you'll be accessing very shortly, that'll be going into more detail and in depth about those strategies. But it's also important to remember that a lot of success is actually related to mindset. And this is particularly important with online business because it is something that requires you to invest time and energy into like creating content in the beginning. And there's sometimes like a bit of a lag before you actually start making money. So you really need to have a strong mindset and you're prepared for the reality of what that's going to look like. And you keep going so that you actually don't give up before you actually have time to be successful. So the first thing is people following their passions is really important. Because as you can see, if you're creating content for any social media platform, if you're doing something that's about something you're not interested in, it's going to be really harder to motivate yourself to actually show up consistently and create enough and engage your audience enough that people start following you and they really want to stay in touch with what you're doing. And also that people are self-motivated. And I mean, I think if you follow your interests, you're more likely to be self-motivated, but it's also about teaching yourself to get motivated for creating something that's kind of got, a long-term gain, that you might be creating content today and you see the money next month. So it's also about teaching yourself how to be motivated in the moment when there is a lag on terms of the rewards. So that's about having a vision really for what you want in your life and really showing up now so that you can benefit later on. The second thing is, and this is like really probably my main mindset tip ever, is really to surround yourself with the right people. And this has helped me and Michelle so much to achieve our business goals. And we continue to do this as the most important thing we can do, is making sure we've got the right mentors and teachers that are going to give us the right strategies, but also the right support we need. And also peers. We love having friends that are at the same stage of business as we are. And that's really important to help us stay motivated, to give us ideas, and just to really really to stay true to what it is that we're creating for our lives. The third one is to people that show up without guarantees. Keep going and don't let fear hold them back. It's one of these things when you start an online business that there are no guarantees. No one can tell you how much money you're going to make and what time frame. And there's obviously certain strategies and things you can do to increase your chances of success. But there's never any guarantees with this thing. And you've got to do it from the spirit of going like you're following something that's actually going to be really worthwhile for you, and you're going to learn heaps of things and you're going to apply them with whatever results you get. and you're going to keep going and keep experimenting until you actually find the level of success that you really desire. The fourth one is like having a growth mindset and committing yourself to learning and improving. I mean, all this stuff, social media and online business was very new to me, and it's something that I've had to like approach as a beginner. And each stage that I go through and develop more skills and more understanding, I have to kind of start as a beginner again. So it's really about going, well, I'm learning and I'm going to get better over time, and I'm going to eventually master this thing. And then once I master that, I'll move to the next thing. So having a growth mindset and really being kind on yourself as you're learning, and when you are a beginner in a certain part of creating an online business is really important, because that's what's going to keep you going. If you judge yourself too harshly for not producing the most amazing things straight away or making a mistake or something like that, then you're never really going to actually get to the point of like achieving that kind of success that you want. So finally, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. So as I said, if you want to learn more about building an online business and get much more in-depth training and examples that you can copy and follow to really start implementing these steps and get some really sort of practical progress towards creating those dreams and that lifestyle that you really want, click on the link below and you're going to get access to that training that's going to cover all this and much more in a lot more depth. So thanks for watching again. Thanks for your time, and see you next time.